Money X reporting live from your heart space. This is the Lovepreneurship podcast. We talking that truth that you need. You need to make sure that you're investing and trading. Buy the dip, buy the dip. Don't be afraid when other people are fearful. You might have to be greedy. When other people are greedy, you might have to be fearful, right? Because this market is very counterintuitive. And so we're going to talk to the master trader as we're taking things to the next level. Brother Brother IQ heavy, always taking it to the next level, giving us that information we need to know. We got that Tesla chart behind us. You know what I'm talking about? After hours looking at 340. I believe it closed at 346. So we got some things moving. Talk to the people, good brother. What are some things that we need to know for the stronger head? And let me know if you can hear me, good bro. Let's see. We can add them up. You back. Yes, sir. Got literally hot. Oh, that's good. That's good. So we got our back. IQ heavy gonna talk you that truth that you need to know. We got that Tesla chart behind us. He gonna tell us that truth, that information. It's gonna take us to the next level.
It's a recession looming, gonna go higher. Inflation is gonna get out. Fuck all. Listen, pardon my French. Buy the dip is what I'm trying to tell you. Tesla gonna come down, and what you gonna want to do is pick Tesla up cheaper because they will come down. On Monday, we will have a circuit breaker moment where everybody gonna get to buy cheaper stock. Now you can look at the opportunity, or you could look at it with fear and go, "Oh, man, but it might go lower. It might go lower." So what? Did you understand the concept? Buy the dip. We are buying the dip and we're gonna hold for 3 months until it rip. And it's gonna rip crazy. You might even get the rip in the first month. But the way it works is you always get to sell in May and go away. But what they don't tell you is we always get a pop at the end of it. Why? Because there's always a retracement. So if there's 100% correction, we get a 50% retracement. If there's a 50% correction, we'll get a 25% correction to the upside. You will always get a correction back to the upside to retest where it came from and try to get back. And if it can't, and you don't see signs of that, it's usually a dead zombie company. So that's just a gem to be paying attention to. So what we're looking for on Monday is major pullbacks. We don't even want to enter the market until around 10:45. You don't want to do any open trading. You want to wait. It's like 9:30 is like going into the market. And I'm not saying don't do it because it's a great time to trade, but it's like my analogies is different, but hear me out. It's like going into a gunfight with a bunch of smoke. Everybody threw a canister of smoke or in a flashbang and everybody disorientated. And everybody got a gun and they just shooting in the fucking into the abyss and hoping they hit somebody and hoping they don't get hit at the same time. But if you come in around 10:30, 10:45, guess what? Everybody laying on the floor, or it's a few people standing. Now you actually know who you need to kill because everybody else is already dead. So you get to win quicker because you get to take the approach of coming in to see what you want to do. It's like football. They could just run out a hole, killed every time. Great running backs, stutter step. They wait for a hole to appear and then they hit it. You got to anticipate the move. So if you want to get to a point, up, scoop, pound, tear up.
Come on. And make sure y'all checking in, man. Make sure y'all taking yourself to the next level. And so, talk to the people now. How do you improve that ability to get better at knowing? I guess you just gave us one, taking time out, not hopping in immediately at the opener. What's another way that they can improve their ability to buy that dip, or at least knowing when the right conditions are?
Well, it's how you trade. So some people got TA. You got the technical analysis guy. He looks at the charts. He's gonna tell you what he sees based off the charts, but the charts can't tell you what's happening in the streets. Such as just charts. They just tell you what happened already, not what will happen. So it's just like a pre-indicator or a predictor. So people use charts to predict the markets, and that's usually why they fail in markets. And then you got your essay, which is like I call it three levels. You got your TA, you got your FA, and you got your essay. Now, FA is fundamental analysis. I do a lot of fundamental analysis. That means I'm breaking down the company. I know if the company's making money. I know what the revenue looks like. I also know who the CEO is. I also know what they're expected to do. I also know what they've done. So for me, it's not a gamble when I'm in any of these plays because I know exactly what they're going to do because they've already done it. And anything else is an expectation of what could happen. So at that point, that's when we bring an essay, sentiment analysis. See, one thing I'm very good at is understanding a trend. I could tell you if something's going good or something's going bad. Most people can too. They just might not think trading to be so simplified. Simplify trading, and that's how you get better. I know it might sound overcomplicated, but there's a thousand technical indicators. There's a thousand technical analysts. You don't need any. What if I told you you needed none of it? Like I've made over 100,000 in the market my first couple years in it. Well, my first couple of successful years in it, I would say, because my first years I got my ass beat too, like most people do. But once you get the hang of it, and I say got my ass beat in it only because I was listening to what I thought was needed to be learned, which was the indicators, the VWAPs, the RSIs, all these technical jargon. But when I really tapped into my ability to understand the markets, it was really just based off my ability to understand sentiment and momentum. Momentum is the same thing for me as sentiment. It's like I use an example right now. We're going into the summer months. What type of stuff, what sector would you think you should play that is potentially down right now because the sector doesn't yield it to be up based off the seasonality, which is also still sentiment driven. So if I say seasonality, it's like, in the summer and the fall, winter, all you guys know that from a perspective of like your regular life. Nothing changes in the market. It's the same concepts. So I know that you guys are going to be traveling in the summertime quite a bit. It's summertime. You're gonna be going on jet skis, going on boats, going on yachts. You're gonna be driving. You're gonna be going to fly other places. You know what you need to do all of that shit? Gas. You know
Okay.
what? You know what gas you gotta use that from? Oil. So one might look at the oil market and right now see it as bearish. Sentiment might even say that it's bearish. So you should be buying right now when it's bearish because you already anticipate that people are going to be moving around in the summertime. And you know what you could short? Gaming. Because people do not play the game in the summertime because they're out. Everybody's traveling. Gaming takes a break in the summertime because you're not about to sit in the house for 4 hours when the sun is out. No need. I can come back and play the game later. So the games won't get the same notoriety. You can even look at the companies. They don't put out games during the summertime like that. They come back during the October and wintertime. They smart. Sentiment, seasonality. See how I just made a trade and I didn't
No, that's facts. That's facts. That's like good example of what you just said is how Netflix kind of was going up right before during when the VIX was going up as well. People were already starting to prepare to use their Netflix account. So that's a good example.
go I move their money to. Because you gotta understand, people just position themselves in gold. That means they were moving their money to safety. Well, that trade is overdue now. Safety's over. Nobody wants any safety anymore. They want stability. Stability is value. So what is value? Probably the Dow Jones. So just look at the Dow Jones and then find stuff inside the Dow Jones that would fit your narrative for sentiment. Because I'm pretty sure the Dow Jones should be pretty bullish because it's cheaper index value plays. So things like Verizon, who has, you know, dividends. See, like you just think outside of what you're thinking. Like, think sector versus stock. Think macro versus micro. You don't want to know how much the gas costs. You want to know how much the barrel of oil costs because then you can dictate the price at the pump. You'll kind of have a better sentiment there.
Mm. That's powerful. That's powerful, bro. Talking that truth. Those are some good ones. I hope y'all taking these notes. Like, share, and subscribe. If you already got some gems dropped to you, it's part of that Lovepreneurship podcast and trading group. What we do to take people to the next level from where they currently are to where you need to go. And so a lot of times people are trading by themselves, but they need to be trading in community. Because if we're not trading in community, then there will be no unity, right? You got to get your mind right. You got to be able to take your time and be able to analyze the charts as well as also analyze the fundamentals as well as also analyze those sentiments. So make sure y'all taking notes, make sure y'all paying attention, and provide the people some more game, man. What are some of the I guess looking ahead in this particular week? You were talking about that downgrade and the Moody's. Talk to the people about that Moody's credit. I know a lot of people had a lot of questions about what that meant for their particular financials. If you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah, so right now the whole market is basically took a hit. So if you notice at the end of Friday, the market nosedived a little bit. That was people taking profits. Still hear me well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was people taking profits based off. So it just looks for its ability to move up. So in this situation, we've been downgraded before, and we always have a pullback. And on that pullback, it's always been this is historical data, by the way. I'm not telling you things I'm thinking out my ass. You know, this is actually how it's been playing out in recent times. So in recent times, the last four times, we've had a buy the dip moment. So in each situation, the market has went down based off of this downgrading, and we went right back up, like beeline to the top. So I'll give you some data I wrote down. So what I'm looking at right now is the S&P 500 lowest guidance since 2020, the lowest guidance in 2025 since 2010. That's sentiment going into Q2. Powell said he'll cut rates to zero if we go into a situation where we're having a job issue. So the market is basically bullish. In 2011, we were downgraded and we fell 6.9% after falling that the following Monday. On the 2023, we fell 1.5 after 2025. We're not actually sure yet. I still have a question mark because I want to see how much we fall on Monday. So tomorrow I'll be buying, is what I'm explaining. So I'm a buyer tomorrow. I'll be looking for a pullback and then I'll be getting bullish. Sectors I'm bullish on is the Dow, Bitcoin, and crypto, and oil, and Walmart. So simple sentiment, simple sectors. I'm also playing a lot of China stocks because we're also going to be in the China market soon.
That's nice, nice. That's big. That's big. And so right now I got the spot chart behind my little head right here, 588. And so I believe that's what it closed at after hours. If you do you have a levels? What levels do you currently have it going at for Monday? If you don't mind us asking.
Give me a second. I'm pulling up my charts right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tesla, my Tesla. Hmm. And since I booted this one, let me see. Looking for a swing trade or a day trade or a buy and hold?
Uh, in truth, I like what you're saying. This might be a quantum leap moment for some. So let's do a quantum leap and then also day trade.
So we want to wait for a pullback then. We were looking for Monday. I got a downside probability of about 100. We're looking to come back to retest 333. I get a little better time frame. Hold on.
Sorry, we talking about Tesla, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, she going down. Not too crazy though. Let me see from where she's at. 35, so 45, 35, about $10. Or she's at 340. Where's she at right now? 344.
340 at after hours, like at the end. She closed at 346, but 340 right now. It's already $6 after hours.
Mm, zoom out. She might get punched in the face if she don't hold. We'll see though. She got a level down at 300. She got a level at 327. And she got a level at 337. As long as she don't go below 338.49, she's good. You see a break below 338.49, and you should take a short position. You see a break above 350.43, you take a long position. Right now, she's in a range. So until she break out of that range, ain't really nothing to do with her. It's a risky trade at best. 'Cause you could like right now, personally, I wouldn't touch her till 323, personally. Like I'm not entering the trade until she gets to 323. And that's not even my target. My target is 320.
And then like 320 back to 340.
320 back to 368.
That's good, and that's actually a good question right there. So how do people get better at picking their ranges, picking their levels for the week in particular? If I'm honest asking.
The previous closing candle. Like if you day trading, you're just looking at the previous day's close. So
Mm.
as long as it didn't break above or below, you stand in the range. And like say yesterday was 340 to 360, and then it opened up the next day at 361, you broke out technically. And if you break below, then now it's downtrend. But if you open up in the middle, you still got to figure out a direction. So it's going through market fluctuations, X volatility. But the way people pick the levels is based off of volume, so to speak. So there was already like a lot of people bought in at a certain spot. So you just look for where the buyers are. So like right now, I guess I'll go to the daily in Tesla. So like I got a lot of buyers. Wrong chart. Hold on, let me open it up on a different chart. Yeah, got a lot of buyers. Got a lot of buyers all over this shit actually. But I got a fair value gap at 309. I actually didn't see this till just now because I opened up a different chart. So now I take that sentiment back. I wouldn't touch Tesla till it come back to 309. I'm glad I seen this because I got punched in the face for $10 and I had to buy into the position even lower. So I just put a fair value gap at 308, and it's most likely gonna come back to my fair value gap.
Nice, nice, and that's big. And I know you touched on it briefly, talking about the Moody's people not necessarily even it meaning as much. I guess talk to us
Nah,
about that.
market going to push through it. We've been downgraded before, and we always get a move down and then a big move up. So like right now, I would say Tesla's gonna get a move down to like 309, but then it's gonna get like a move to up back to like I would say 360, lotto high, but on average 351. So it's a big move coming from that 304 because at that point enough fear have gotten into the market that people start to change their sentiment because it's already at like 340s and shit. So basically when it dropped to like 335 and people start buying it, go back to 337 and it gets sold off again and go back down to like 330, then they get bought up again at 334, then it gets sold off all the way down to 320, then they get bought back up. It's going to play that game to the downside and then people can keep getting cracked and then it'll fall all the way down and then people will be like, man, fuck Tesla. They overvalued anyway. And then they boom. That'll be the end of the month though. So like right now we're gonna have a strong down week and then we're gonna have a strong recovery. Because this will be to shake everybody out and also make prices attractive for like retail. Because they've been putting out commercials. So like last week, retail bought a lot of the dip. So like I was looking at the sentiment and it was retail buying. There wasn't a lot of institutions. So when the market corrected that first time, that was retail that got punched in the face. And if Tesla breaks out of the range though, like right now, it just got to break the 364. Remember I told you it come up to 360. If it break 364, 364.42, the next level is 420 or 440. You know, yeah, damn. It got a spot to stop at like 393, but it's gonna push right through that shit.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm definitely seeing there's more ways to also even capture those moves on plays like TSLL. What's your thoughts on those type of those leveraged index plays, kind of like TSLL that are smaller or spidered or based upon Tesla? What's the
So
best way?
yeah, CS what?
TSLL.
I'm not familiar with that one.
I believe it's like similar to Spy, like Spy and SPX is. I
And you
believe
think
it's
and
leveraged.
it's
I believe
Tesla?
it's
I think
leveraged.
you might got the tick. You might got the ticker wrong. You mean like the other the? I think it's not TSLO. Hold on.
I believe it's a TSLL or it might be 1.5. Actually, not two times leverage.
I'm trying to pull it up though. So I said I don't. When you said it, it didn't resonate, and I know most of Tesla's tickers. So I know they're leverage ones, and I was like TSLL don't sound correct. I typed it in and I couldn't find it either.
For sure.
Oh here, there you go. No, you're right. I had it on the wrong screen. Oh, I don't use it. I don't use this one, but it is correlated pretty well. It depends. Like, I don't not like the leverage ones. I just have to know what the move is going to be, and I also got to know the spread because a lot of times the spread on a contracts be shitty. So maybe you got to kind of like. I wouldn't recommend it unless you really know how to read the gammas because you could be in a contract if you like say Tesla could move like $20 and you only make like $300 because you didn't understand the contract. So if you don't get the right spread, it could be hard for you to get out of the contract. And then you might not have no buyers when it's time for you to get out of the contract because of how fast they got out based off of like manipulating it. Because like there's a lot of manipulation and like it depend. Matter of fact, it also depends on what platform you're getting on. I should say that. So like you on Robinhood, I would not recommend it. But if you like on a major platform, I would say it's okay. And the reason I say the difference is because you can't get in and out of your trades as efficiently on Robinhood. So like you could get caught. in a position because they malfunction and won't let you out the position. It could have nothing to do with you. They could just fuck up, and they're not gonna reimburse you.
No, that's big. That's big. I'm seeing that more. Definitely, we definitely picking up more on Tasty Trade. Definitely, that's been what we've been doing more with Tasty Trade and Weeble for sure. Man, no, that's gems right there. That's gems right there. And so one thing we're seeing now is just being able to focus on the market ahead. I know one stock that's been getting a lot of attention has been UNH, United Health. A lot of people have been talking about puts on that particular one.
Yeah. Mm, um. Kind of gotta wait and see with them because they're interesting. I was just looking at their balance sheet. They don't got no like they low margin, so they don't really make a lot of money. So it's like I'm just they're not. Mm, I have to wait a little more before I can really give a like. Matter of fact, let me pull up their chart real quick because I'll probably so the chart can give me a different story. Yeah, nah, it don't. It tell me the same story. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. Like, I mean, what would be what are you trying to do to it? Like, you trying to short it or are you trying to long it or something? Like, what would be
Uh,
the
uh,
thesis? I guess I would have to
that's
ask.
a great question. Right now, always the energy, whatever it's ready to do, we ready to dance with it. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, right now, I mean, I would wait. Oh, actually, it's not that bad. What am I saying though?
I think it went to a low of 238.
Yeah, I see the low. So, that was a discount zone, 250 and all of that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for these prices, it's not a bad trade. I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't short it no more, if that's what you're asking. Like right now, it's like it got a lot of well, it ain't a lot of volume. Let me see. Um, yeah. Damn, I don't like these FEGs. All right, I got FEG at 282. Fair value gap. So I would be a buy around like 282 level, and I would look for that to pop back up to like 290, and then I'm out of there.
But if we see it at 250, that's definitely a discount.
Yeah, 250 ain't. I don't really see that happening. But let me see. If I can find that level because it might already have a level where that was support. That's why it bounced there. So you just look for it again. So on the weekly, 350. Nah, I don't really see nothing either. Hold on, bring it together. Oh, it did have a level there. Okay. Okay. So it could come nah to a spot right where it bounced before. Damn. It was in 2020, 185. So in 2020, she came down kind of similar. I'm actually, this might be the same. This might be the same pattern actually. And I'm looking at it. Um, and she got the signal down and back up. Mm, And then we get it down and then back up. Oh shit. Nah, she got her ass beat. She is not going back up. I'm gonna see. She got a strong wall at like you know what? She is gonna go back up because they gotta print this one to get back up to the upside. So she gotta move from now to this on a weekly though. So I would get like a 2 week out or 4 week out, probably like a month or two out contract. Cheap ones though. So I ain't taking a lot of risks. And I would look for like probably like the 255, 260 calls for like a month out. Because I'm anticipating it to blow back to at least 384 is the next FVG up there. So it's going down, but it's way oversold. They fucked up. They shouldn't have sold it off that hard. Yeah, it didn't deserve the evaluation. I'm looking at it now. It's way oversold. This shit about to pop back to the upside. 281 will be the first level if it's not there already.
Talking that truth, bro. And so we we pretty much talked some truth that y'all needed to hear. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe because these are information that's gonna take this a strong week ahead. Because we don't do nothing weak over here. We got a new game that we playing that we want to close out with. This is part of our I don't know if you know the Clay Kane show. But, they had a game, Am I Tripping, that me and wifey were able to win as part of their taping. And so it's a nice game because it just allows people to do scenarios, see how they would handle it. So I'm gonna read at least two scenarios for you, brother, and I want to know how you would respond. And the question is, you got to answer it. Are you tripping, or is the person in this scenario tripping? Because again, this is a good example of if this then that scenarios that you got to have in the marketplace. So let's see. Yeah. All right. So this first one said, my brother has been using my login for different services for years. The one time I asked him for a login for a service he was paying for, he said no because his password was private. Instead of arguing, I just changed the password on my accounts to lock his stingy self out. Am I tripping? Answer the
All,
question, my brother.
all the way.
And tell the people why, because we always give them why.
Well, for one, your decision is your decision, and his decision is his decision. Just because he allowed you to use his passcode does not mean that you should feel entitled to use his passcode. Because a passcode is just that, a passcode. It is intended to be private. So if you chose out of the kindness of your heart or whatever good deed or what may have you that you wanted to allow your brother or friend or anybody else to use your password, that is your prerogative. The same way it is their prerogative if they choose to not allow you. And for you to then say, well, since they didn't allow me, I'm now going to retaliate with saying I'm no longer going to allow them. So then you weren't genuinely allowing them to do anything. You were looking for reciprocal energy. But you didn't even state that up front to let them know, hey, I'll let you use it, but in the future, I'm gonna need to be able to use your stuff too. If that wasn't discussed, then you have an entitlement issue. And then you have a selfish issue. And then you got an emotional issue. It's a lot of issues that's more so at that point. Had nothing to do with the other person. They didn't do anything but be themselves.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good breakdown. That's a good breakdown. Snaps over there for that one. So number two, we got number two over here. We're probably gonna do three on them. So every time this one family member has a gathering, something always comes up missing. Money, phones, tablets, you name it. It got back to this family member that I said, I'm not going back over there because someone in that house steals. Now I'm treated like the villain, not the thief. Am I tripping?
Yeah, he tripped her. If you ain't gonna call it in the light, don't call it in the dark. If you had something to say when you left, you should have said something when you were there. I know something coming up missing for me. Hey, 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 I'm missing some shit, and I'm gonna need somebody to help me figure this out because I ain't just missing it. It ain't go for a walk. And if we can't figure it out, it's okay. We ain't gotta talk no more because I ain't coming back here again. Everybody gonna know that up front. You ain't gonna hear about it through the back door. You gonna hear about it up at the front. So yeah, you tripping.
Oh, that's big. That's big. That's big. That's big. Man, they cooking over here with these ones, man. Let me see if we got another one for them.
Transparency is real. I don't coddle people.
No, that's good. Okay, so this is a good one. This is a good one. All right. So share a true story about a family member that made you wonder, am I tripping? If you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, I could use my sisters. Any one of them. They called me to come out for a family gathering, but then asked me to pay for a bunch of shit. And I was like, I don't want to go because they don't see me as valuable. They see me as cost. Because every time they call me, they want me to spend some money. It's not, hey, come to the event, which I would have brought something anyway. That's just how you do it. But for you to insist that I got to bring something, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna chill. She's like, you're not gonna come? I was like, nah, I got other stuff I gotta do. It's like, yo, you never want to come to the events no more. I was like, yo, it's just me. I be dealing with a lot. So maybe I'm tripping, but that's how I perceived it.
Oh,
Because
no, no.
remember,
I wouldn't say you
they
tripping on that one.
the consensus is I'm tripping, not them. So that's why I said to your point. I said, am I tripping? Because there's three females and one guy, and three girls is saying I'm bugging, and I'm one guy saying nah, y'all bugging. So maybe I'm tripping.
No, no, no. That would assume majority is always right, and we know that the majority is usually wrong.
That's what I usually tell them. So that's why I say respectfully, I just chill out. Because when I call people to my events, it's just come out, have a good time, relax, get a drink, whatever you do. Like it's gonna all be here for you. You don't got to clean up at the end. You could go home. Everything is going to work out great. Like that's why you came out to relax, relieve stress, take a load off.
This is a good one. This is a good example. We can actually do another one, do a bonus one. 'Cause I like that example you gave. You said, I spent $200 on a cake for my friend's bridal shower. When her fiance picked up the cake, he accidentally mangled it to the point where it was no longer edible. I didn't have a problem paying for the beautiful and delicious cake to be displayed and enjoyed. But since my $200 went down the drain, I told him he needed to reimburse me for the cake. Am I tripping?
Yeah, you got to eat that one. You just come with the game.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? That's a good point. Sometimes you just gotta bring it to the table.
Yeah, like yeah, look, man. As a bridal, it was just listen. Sometimes shit happens, and sometimes you just deal with it. And there's gonna be times that might have been situations on the other end where they just deal with it. You could call it out, but I mean, is it really worth it? Like, what is the $200 really worth to you?
That's true. That's true. Okay, this is a good one. This is the last one. This is the last one. Actually, this one kind of relevant to what you said. Well, on this one. Said, and again, we playing that Am I Tripping game, man. It's from that Clay Kane show. We won this one. We actually had a video online. We're gonna post this actually onto our YouTube on here just to see when wifey was talking. And so the question that's being read is, I feel like I have to travel for your wedding or birthday party. Then I don't, but it said, I feel like I have to travel for your wedding or birthday party. Then I don't owe you a gift. All the money I spent to get there is your gift. Am I tripping?
Yeah, if you're gonna go, you gotta bring a gift. Otherwise, if you can't afford it, don't show up. I get it. I get it, but at the end of the day, you gotta make a decision. Or you could tell them, listen, I'm coming, but I ain't gonna have no gift because I ran out of money. And if you leveling with people, you leveling. You gotta start saying you gotta be transparent. Transparency is key. They might tell you, hey, just come anyway. We didn't even need a gift from you. Your presence is cool.
No, that's big. That's big. That's big. Make sure y'all checking out these scenarios, making quick decisions, making sure your ability to discern if this then that is the key. Make sure you read and react, read and respond. If it does this, then I do this. If I do this, then I do that. You feel me? And we gotta make sure we take the emotion out the game, put that stop loss on. Make sure you stay focused on your vision. And you don't need to trade everything, you know. Make sure that you stay focused on that long term by the dip. Take the quantum leaps out, make a better lot size, scale in when possible. You dig?
I,
Anything you
I,
want to leave the people on?
yeah, I'll give y'all a little indicator since everybody love indicators. Use OBR. So go on your trading view and type OBR in the indicators. And it's called opening range break. Um, op- opening range breakout. So it'll give you the ability to see the whole chart in the first 15 minutes, and you'll know exactly where the trend is going to go. It's kind of like a cheat, in my opinion. If anybody's using the chart, the TA, you don't actually even need a bunch of charts. You literally could just type the opening break, open OBR, and you go. I mean, sorry, ORB. My bad. ORB, my bad. We just use that opening range breakout, put it on your chart, change it to the 15-minute. So go into the settings, change it from 5 to 15, change the time from 9:15 to 9:30, and change the other time to 9:45. And then boom, you're a day trader. Just go down to the 15-minute, pull it up on your chart. You'll see. It'll draw all the lines for you. You might be like, it can't be this fucking easy. But it is. Cost of volume. You still hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I'm saying, talking on it. I was saying, more now. Actually, now I do have an additional question before we close out. Actually, in terms of like value, because we're talking, value stocks, growth stocks. For the dip, would you more invest in a Palantir, a Tesla, or Nvidia, or would you choose more indexed SPY or SoFi?
Well, for NVIDIA, I would look for core weave to fall. Core weave is kind of like a put on NVIDIA. So anytime core weave drop, NVIDIA is gonna buy it. So NVIDIA is gonna use that money to keep going up. So the best put buy out of everybody, I would say, or the best buy on a drop would be Palantir for sure.
Yeah,
Palantir would be number one. Because like what people don't realize about Palantir is they've been doing everything that they've been doing, and everybody else is just doing what they've been doing. And like the only reason Palantir had a problem is because people didn't trust them before. They were big data. They would go to big companies, and big companies didn't want to give them all their data. Like they would go to like, the hospital. They're like the HIPAA law. We don't want to give you all of our data to crunch. But with AI out now, everybody gives their data to AI. So now the best person in the space to crunch all of your data and tell you how to best use your shit is Palantir. Everybody else is spending like $50 billion a year X market cap to do the shit that Palantir's been doing already. So like the no-brainer is the actual person who has AI is Palantir. Other people are creating AI, which is actually giving more market share to Palantir because when all the smoke settles, that's going to be who wins the race.
No, that's big. Yeah, that's what I'm sensing too. They definitely have, because to your point of buying the dip, that's the one I did buy a lot in the dip. Palantir, that definitely has returned me more there. So I definitely agree with that one. So
Yeah,
that's
find particular plays you like. Like I got like a keep like a hot sheet, if you will, of like certain plays. So for me, it's like a basketball team. I just watch certain people. So I got like my Palantirs, I got my SoFis, I got my like UNHs only because I know that's overbought or oversold. Like I use screeners. So like in the morning time, I go on my screener and I just look for what's moving. Like I know Netflix is gonna be a mover. I know Palantir is gonna be a mover. I know Tesla's gonna be a mover. I know AMD is gonna be a mover. I know Verizon's about to be a mover. Like it's easy to know what moves. It's just people are always looking for the next big move when the big move is to find something that does move and stick with it moving. Literally stick and move, stick and move. So when they go down, buy a lot of shares or buy a lot of option plays for it to go back to the upside. When they go up, sell that shit and then wait for it to drop again and rebuy it. You know how it moves because you've been watching it. So you'll get comfortable with how it moves. Oh, it only goes up. And you can look at the ATR, like what the average trader range is. It might be 60 cents. Always move about 60 cents a day. So on any average day, you can get 60 cents on it. I mean, I look for bigger ATR. So like for me, I'm always looking for like a Tesla or like an Microsoft or a Nvidia, or I need bigger movers. So I play those ones. I just always have to get the sentiment right. So that's why I say I don't even really use TA. Even though I was showing you what I was telling you on the charts, like I was looking at the charts as I'm telling you the stuff. So I know I'm right just on TA, but I could be wrong. This is why people can't give advice trading. Because what happens is they could look at the charts and tell you exactly what's going to happen. But if Donald Trump come out tomorrow and say I'm putting tariffs back on at 50%, no, the fuck they can't. Nobody anticipated that. So that's sentiment driven. That's where you got to be like a multi trader in the market. Because sometimes people want to get into the market, but they don't like the volatility. So you want to be a swing trader or you want to be an investor, but then you see your portfolio go down 40 to 60%. You trying to figure out where the fuck is the defense at? Like, what do I do? But that's the people who don't have trailing stops. Like, they don't know to get out. They don't know you got to get out of the way of a moving bus. They're like, yeah, it'll just run me over and I'll be okay. I'll get back up. No, like, why would you stand there if you don't have to? No, none of them stand there. But people think that money leaves the market. Money just rotate in markets. When
mm,
Bitcoin is down, gold is up. It's not coincidental. People rotate their money. Like, think of it as energy. Energy isn't destroyed, it's only dispersed. So if you hear, oh, this asset class was just destroyed, that means there's an asset class that's about to take in all of that money, which is energy, because it can't be destroyed. It can only be dispersed. So when you see the SPY drop a lot, where do you think the money's going? To crypto. It's going to crypto, it's going to gold, it's going to commodities. When those go up, everybody starts to jump in and then they start going down. And that we had a crash in bonds or we had a crash in this. And then a month later, you notice something else went up really high. It's just a rotation. So if you get good at understanding this hot potato, figure out where the potato about to move and you play it off the sector. So like right now, I know that we in tech, but tech is technically overvalued, so we're gonna get a pullback. But because we're gonna get a pullback, look for where is their value at right now. So as I look through the Nasdaq 100, which is a bunch of tech, it's not a lot of value there right now. If you look through um the Russell, I mean, it's relative, not really a lot of volume there. The Dow Jones looks bearish, but it's sitting at a level where it could break out. So you just take that trade in anticipation of them taking that trade because where they're going to put their money. Same concept with Bitcoin. Like when Bitcoin get up to like 170, 160, The retail people gonna come into the market. They're gonna be like, man, Bitcoin way too high for me, right? I can't buy that. What's the next cheapest altcoin? What's the next cheapest meme coin? What's the next thing closest to Bitcoin that I could buy that I could participate in this run too? And that's how the meme coin rally and the altcoin rally has their move. People don't anticipate it because, quite frankly, they're stupid. They look like, I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean they're not choosing to think for themselves. They're literally thinking in herd mentality, which is stupid. You're not using your brain. You should use your thought process. Like, why are you following what they're telling you? They- Why are you even listening to narratives? Just check for yourself and see how it works. If you don't like it, then now you have a consensus. You have your own experiences on something to say, yeah, it's not for me, versus, yeah, people say you could lose all your money in the stock market. And I'm like, well, the concept is you could make $1 million, right? And they're like, yeah, you could do that, but you could lose all your money. I'm like, well, let's switch the narrative. You could lose all your money everywhere. Can you make $1 million at your job? Probably can't. So it's a weird narrative that people paint. It's like right now, I think we were at before the credit downgrade. I think we were at 30% of a recession, which I laugh at because that means there's no recession. And people go, "How do you so confident that there's not going to be a recession?" I deal with a lot of chats and shit and talking to a lot of people, and I go, "Well, how many times did you fail a test with a 70?" And they go, "Huh?" I said, "Well, 70% means you pass. You usually need like a 65 to pass, but you got a whole 5 more points." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Well, 30% is what they said for a recession. 30% chance of a recession means that there's a 70% chance that there is none. You just have to flip how you see the mentality. Like your brain got to be able to go, oh, they're trying to trick me. You're saying something with fear, but you're putting a small percentage on it, which is making it sound like it's a big percent because it's bigger than the percent before. So just now with the downgrade, we're at 45%. Ooh, making you scary. But unless we were at 50-50, you're really not even playing like it's too easy. Because at 50-50, they could accidentally fuck up because they could have pushed something down too far. And then someone else decides that they didn't realize that everybody was playing and they were going to bring it back up and they sell out everything, which actually brings you into a real recession. So they play close to the line, but they're not going to hit it because it's incentive driven. For them to make money, they want the market to correct because they can buy the fucking dip. And that shit gonna rip to the moon because everybody else is gonna jump off the train because they think it's gonna keep dipping. They trained you to buy the dip back in 2020, and then they taught you never to buy the dip because that shit kept dipping after they did the dip. You had so many dips that people was like, I got dipped out of the market because they didn't have no more money. Now people are conditioned to not buy no damn dip. I ain't buying no dip. I'm gonna see how far I go down. And guess what? You're gonna be on the sideline watching because they've conditioned you to think, don't buy the dip. Me, I'm always buying the dip because the market historically goes back up. So I don't give a fuck if I get it wrong. I'm gonna buy a dip tomorrow. It might not go up that day. It might go down again on Tuesday. I'm gonna buy a dip again. It go down on Wednesday. I'm gonna buy a dip again. It go down on Thursday. I'm buy. See, I have dry powder, so I'm gonna buy the dip every fucking day that it's dipping, just for about a week. And I'm just waiting for about 3 weeks out for everything to clear and all the smoke to settle. Like I told you, like the 1045 thing. This is just waiting for shit to clear out in a span of a month or two. So by June, mid-June, things should look good.
Can you hear me, bro? That means he was cooking. He was saying something y'all needed to hear. He was saying something y'all needed to hear. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, man. This is that Lovepreneurship podcast. We're talking that truth, that investment and trading thing that you need to do for this weekend. The strong ahead, because you're right. We don't do nothing weak over here. You got to make sure you take your time, take it seriously, invest your capital. Make sure you trade with your stop loss. Don't be afraid of any loss because you got to be a boss. You know what I'm talking about? there is, if you think investing is risky, if you think trading is risky, then you got to see the bill for not investing. You got to see the bill for not trading, right? Because everything in life is risky. Scared money don't make none. And if you scared, then go to church. I'm talking about you should go to tabernacle. Make sure that